units more or less today. It's a number of pages we still have to do, and we're going to do it in a very rapid fashion, but with all of you participating. Kind of what we did last time with some of the pages of the Targelim, and we had people read, namely Baruch read, Yirmiyahu, and also Eli was here and he participated. So we're continuing with those pages, and let me just find out where exactly we are here. Yirmiyahu, do you have a page that we left off at? 114, 115. That sounds right. No, we haven't gotten yet to the PL. The PL we did already, but we still have to do some pages before that PL. Did we do everything?
We went all the way up to heading 1 and heading 1. Then when we skipped and we went to 104, we're at 107, 108, 112. 112. I think we may look up at 112, 112, 114,
Okay, we did 112. Okay.
That's what my notes show.
No, 112, I know we did the verbs, but did we do the exercise on 111?
We did that.
Okay, then basically we covered quite a lot already. I wasn't even aware of that. Okay, that me and the ma word, that much I know I did with you already in class.
We didn't do the 111
I don't think we did that 111 yet.
Yeah.
Okay, not a problem.
Yeah, so we left off at 109.
Okay, 108, we did 109. And Hannah, I guess you'll just simply go over it on your own. Page 108, for example, the use of the word who and he in place of the word is and are, which doesn't have a Hebrew word to it. So that's what she was doing there. And if you have any shaylos, you'll ask me privately and we'll go over that with you.
Oh, you can look at the video. Okay, Professor, I'll be back.
Okay. Also, not only that, he's right about that. There are tapes. This classroom is being taped, so you basically just go over the last couple of hours. You'll see it on tape, and that will help you as well. Okay, I'm going to pick up now on page 110, rather 111, and let's just see what you have to do here. All right. Let me just pick up a little bit better. Let me just go back to the me and the ma word, because Edna Kaufman gets me a little confused as well. All right, I'm looking at page 110. I'm going to go over this a little more with you. The word translates as who, the word me. And then she writes the following. The word who, me, refers to the subject of the sentence. If a verb follows the question word, as me introduces a question, who, it usually appears in the third masculine singular form. It is a general and not a specific question, and so the answer has to be specific. All right, so when you ask the word me or use the word me, you don't say in the plural, you don't say it in the feminine. It's me lo made rather than me lo medet, even though the word me can be used and have an answer that's feminine or have an answer that's plural. But if you don't know the answer and you're asking a question, then you keep it singular, masculine. Me lo made kan, and the response is Moshe lo made kan. You could also have the phrase number 2 there, mi oved b'midbach. Notice the word me governs the masculine singular. Oved is masculine singular, who works in the kitchen. And then the response is a feminine answer, Rina oved b'midbach. Well, if Rina oved b'midbach, then should you not ask the question, mi oved b'midbach? But the point she's trying to say is when me is used, generally speaking, you don't know any answer. So you say mi oved. If indeed you know it's going to be a female answer, like walking into an Ezrat Nashim, into a women's quarter, then it seems to me it's logical to say mi ovedet. Okay, Yirmiyahu, I want to repeat this in Hannah as well. When you say the word who, given the answer you don't know, then the who governs the masculine singular. If you say the word who and you're speaking before a group of women, I guess if your answer deals with that group of women, it makes sense also to say mi ovedet po or mi lomedet po instead of saying mi lomed or mi oved. She does not bring that out. She's just talking in general terms itself. And so the word me is used for both male and female. And the point is, me is not a masculine or feminine word. It's an interrogative expression, who. And who is either male or female, and the answer could be singular or plural or masculine or feminine. Okay, that's basically what's involved here. I find it also interesting if this particular exercise were written in the year of our Lord, 2011. Are you listening, children? I had to add something to this thing that they're evaluating about me, and that is your classroom run, or put it this way, that's not what was asked. In the class that Jeremy Yahoo takes, that English writing creative class, there is a very strong statement in the syllabus of that English professor that says there's got to be equality, there's got to be, inclusion, there cannot be discrimination, da 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 da. And then, if that is so, Yirmiyahu, how would you analyze to the question Milo made, Khan? It's a male answer, Moshe. And when it comes to the question of who works in the kitchen, it's a woman's answer. That's kind of discriminatory. Women are saying, the hell with you. I don't work in the kitchen, you bum. I can get service. And that's what I want. You work in the kitchen. I'll do the work at the house side. I'm not trying to be comical right now. I really wonder if this statement, Moshe Lo made, the male studies and the woman cooks. I don't know if Hannah feels discriminated. Do you feel disturbed when we say Hannah ato oved b'midbach, but your Baal who oved b'chanut? Are you bothered by that? את מגישה הצבא? אם אני אומר ככה, את עובדת במטבח?
אני עובדת.
אני יודע. את אוהבת את זה? לעבוד במטבח? כן. את לא רוצה לעבוד בחנות?
לא.
לא. אוקיי. את לא רוצה ללמד סטודנטים? Would you like to teach students? כן.
כן.
אוקיי, בסדר.
אני אוהבת.
Okay. Yirmiyahu, I guess Hannah is from that part of the world that they don't know for these distinctions. As far as the black community is concerned, I'm not quite sure if they even make a distinction either. But somehow it's that other world, the demonstrating world, who take over the universities that might feel insulted. I see nothing insulting about this, but do you understand how just the association of Moshe Lomed and Rina Ovedet, Bamidbach? Why not have Rina Lomedet? Anyway, and the answer to all this is that Abe Garber did not write this Targil. It's a female author of this book. So how do you figure that out when a woman writes this type of exercise? And then you have to go one step further. If I'm not mistaken, Edna Coffin spent her years, like any Israeli, in the Israel Defense Forces. She was an officer. So she knows what it is to work in the fields. So if she's responsible for these sentences, don't even assume that she's being a little discriminatory. Far from it. Okay, the words lomed and the word oved, both those words we know. Any word that has a lamed mem dalet deals with learning, and the word that we picked up very quickly is causing one to learn, melamed, a teacher, if you wish, and also the verb to teach. The word ovedet, the ayin bet dalet, is anything that deals with work, also can deal with worship. And I guess when you talk about worship, there is a sense of theology involved, but there's also a ritual that is ritual work involved. But ayin bet dalet is a good word to know. There's also another word associated with Ayin Bet Dalet, and that is the word Eved. The word is Eved. Eved. Eved translates as slave, S-L-A-V-E. But since we got to be polite with these words, Eved will translate also as servant. And if we read the Bible, and here my good friend Yirmiyahu is a good inspiration and maybe a little intuition. If you're going to write for that particular compendium that they're doing, Perspectives on Evil, how interesting to see that Eved, a Hebrew slave, is mentioned. Ever look into Eved Ivri? And an Eved Ivri, I might add, is a special type of slave, if you don't mind me saying it, servant, because it's not just simply Eved, Moabi, or Eved Edomi from Edom, or Eved Mitzri, Egyptian slave or servant. It's a Hebrew slave. Now, how are you going to figure this one out? Ivri, the word Habiru, Abraham Ha'ivri, Abraham, our great father, the founding father of three religions, I guess, is Abraham Ha'ivri. And what the hell is an Eved Ivri now? And the interesting thing about the Eved Ivri, the Hebrew slave, is he's given an ultimatum. On the 7th year, that Eved Ivri is given the door. Go. You're out of here. Whoa. That number 7 again. That Shabbat. That Shabbaton. Whatever you want to call it. And now, Yirmiyahu, you can tell the story to the women folks. If the Eved Ivri is given the opportunity to go free, it says unlock. I don't want to go. You sure you want that? The ear is then taken, brought to the mezuzah area, and the ear is pierced, suggesting the ear that heard the call for freedom chose not to go that route, and so the mark is there. You're now a servant of the house. How many Eved Ivris decide to stay with their master? Quite a few, I presume. And if you want a little American history on it, the third president of the United States of America fathered children whose descendants are around today, who claimed that their great-great-grandpa was Thomas Jefferson. The hell are you talking about? You're black. Excuse me. Jefferson had some kind of connection with a black woman. You're shaking your head, so you're aware of this. Yeah. And there's no insult. Well, there is an insult. There was no insult as far as those descendants go. That's our great-great-grandpa. But Jefferson, I guess, couldn't do much because back in America in those days, you made sure you don't make contact that way. But I find it fascinating that the Hebrew Bible does have this Hebrew slave phenomenon, but also has the freedom. And if the freedom is not followed, it's the slave, now we'll call him a servant, the slave who chooses to be a servant. I don't want to leave. And you can't blame him because what the hell am I going to go out there? It's a wilderness out there. Here I already know what to do. But once you become a pierced ear servant, I presume you'll have privileges that you didn't have before. You really are free, but you're not free because you choose not to be free. And that might be an interesting topic, if you write about it or not, for you to look into. How far has that gone with black folks? Or any other group that basically falls into that role. But the Eved Ivri, I remember as a child, always confused me. I couldn't figure out how Jews called Hebrews are called slaves or servants. I never had to explain to me. It probably was, but I never really understood. Anyway, back to that Shoresh again, Ayin Bet Dalet. It's a good word to know. Okay, and the word Avdut, let's give you a noun from that word as well. Avdut means servitude. Again, all these words, Avodah, Eved, Avdut now. Avdut, you could see the root there, the ayin bet dalid. Avdut is servitude, servitude. And if you want to use a common English phrase, slavery. Okay, with that said, I now read the next paragraph, or let me see what she says first. If a noun follows the question word, by its nature, it contains specific information as to gender and number. Okay, so if you have a noun that follows me, and then she puts in parentheses the word who, the masculine word, because the word hey, mem, va, resh, hey can be read as hamora or hamoreh, but she wants it to be masculine. So mi hu hamoreh hakan, who is the teacher here. In the case of hatamidim, the mi haim hatamidim. Well, I guess what gives it away is the adjective here, hachadashim, the new students. And then as far as the third sentence goes, the word hawarachat gives it away. It's a female word. Guess. Miawarachat mechefa. And let's just look at that word mi, mechefa. All right. As long as we're doing this thing, that word mi with a yud is the word who. But you'll have another mem letter, which is the word min. Min can be written by itself. It's the word which means from. But there's a tendency of drafting the min word and adding it to the word that follows by dropping that nun letter. So the min will be pointed as me, the next letter, meaning the word that follows, we have a dagesh chazak to close the short chirik underneath the mem. We don't write min, we're writing it now as a prefix letter. The mem will be pointed as a tseirei if the next letter cannot take a dagesh chazak, which are the four laryngeals, the aleph, the ayin, the hey, the chet, and the letter resh. I guess that's it. But you understand what I'm doing right now. That word me sounds like the word me who with a chirik, a long chirik. This is a short chirik, dagesh chazak in the next letter. A very common Israeli expression is the word todah. I think you all know that word, todah. And then merosh. Somebody's going to do a favor for you or do an activity for you. You're not going to see the person necessarily after the activity is done. So you give them a greeting, Todah Merosh. Thank you from Merosh, from the head, from the beginning. Todah Merosh. Notice the point of the mem with a seirei before a word that begins with laryngeal or the resh letter. As long as she's drawing these phrases out, I might as well give you a more complete picture now. And now the word ma. The word ma is the word what. And let me see what she says here. The interrogative pronoun what usually poses a question about the predicate in the sentence. I mean, her English is so fancy schmancy here about the predicates. Ma atosa, what are you doing? Again, unvocalized Hebrew, that osa word can easily be read as oseh, but since the subject is at, then you know it's feminine. And the aleph tav by itself can be read as et, but obviously in the sentence itself, you can see it means you. Response, ani pekida babank. I am an inspector or clerk, if you think in this case, in the bank. How do I know it's in the bank? I'm reading the English. Without that English, I can read the word babank as bivank, in a bank. Let me show you that again. The word bank in Hebrew is a word you don't have a problem with. Sounds like your English word bank. The spelling of the word is spelled this way. If I want to say the bank, I add my definite article, a bank. In the bank, the bet comes along, as you might remember, strikes out the definite article and takes over the vowel, ba bank, in the bank. If I want to say in a bank, here's your word bank again, in a, the bet does not strike out the definite article, point with a shvana, and as a result, drop your dagesh kal from the bet here. You cannot have a dagesh following a shvana. So the word will be bivank. I doubt with all my knowledge whether an average Israeli says bivank. They probably says bibank. They don't bother with Hebrew grammar. And the banking business in Israel is very prolific. They have hours of working, so it starts around 6 o'clock in the morning probably. They have a break time as well. It's very active. If you speak only English, there's somebody right there that will help you out as well. I remember that was one activity I did continuously for my parents and for myself when I lived in Jerusalem. Always went to the bank. Okay, Ma Talomed, the last two lines on page 110. What are you studying? Again, we have that masculine word always with study. Ani lomed matematika. That word matematika is a good borrowed word. One of the lessons at the very beginning, she has a whole list of disciplines: philosophia, psychologia, historia, and matematika. Not a problem. I now continue. The word order after ma can be changed for emphasis or for stylistic reasons. Nouns, subject, and verb can change places. Where you change place and put the verb before the subject, it's a way of emphasizing in that sentence the action that's done rather than the subject who does the action. So you ask the question as Ma Moshe Oseba Midbach. Well, actually, she's using it both ways. Ma Moshe Oseba Midbach. What is Moshe doing? And the other way is Ma Ose Moshe. When you put the verb first, it's really emphasizing the action that Moshe is doing in the midbach, in the kitchen. But then she tells us that the word order cannot be changed when the subject is a pronoun. The pronoun uses straight order. Mahu oseh kan, don't say ma osehu kan. Okay, so how do you summarize this? If your subject is a noun, not a pronoun, then you're going to have the subject first and the verb, or the verb first and the noun. If your subject is a pronoun, I, you, he, she, it, those words, then you have the pronoun first and not the verb before the pronoun. Regarding the word ma, let me review that with you. The normal spelling of the word ma is with a patach. The word is written independently. However, the pei is not seen as a consonant. It's seen as a vowel marker. That tradition of a last letter of a word that's a hey is often seen as a vowel marker rather than a true consonant. What you haven't learned yet is there are words where the hey has a dot in it, and that's known as the mapik hey, and that dot implies that the hey is a true consonant, not a vowel marker. That you don't see that often. When you do, the hey is a true consonant, not a vowel marker. So if the hey without the dot is a vowel marker, then this patach is seen as a short vowel, open syllable which gets closed by placing a dagesh chazak in the next letter. What if the next letter is laryngeal? Then the ma word will have the pointing with a kamatz, so that the pata doesn't have to be closed by any dagesh chazak. And then there's a third pointing of the ma word, pointed with a sego. If the next letter is laryngeal letter and has a kamatz on it, miyu kamatz, as in the phrase mechadash, what is new? Not machadash, but mechadash. Even though the sego is short vowel and it's not closed by anything, but that's how it goes. We did that once with you in class, but she doesn't repeat any of this here. Okay, now the targil, the exercise. I read the dugma. Milo made Sorfatit. Who is studying? Again, that word me, since you don't have an answer yet, will govern the masculine singular word. You don't say Milo medet, you say the masculine singular. Milo made Sorfatit. And then the answer will be singular, plural, male or female. The response, ha-studentim lo medim Sorfatit. The fact that you know it's student team, you don't go back and ask the question, mi lomdim tzarfatit. You only know it's student team when the question is asked. So the question is always masculine singular. And statement number 2 is the word ma. Ma lo medim ha-student team. What do they study? What are the students studying? The response, ha-student team lo medim tzarfatit. Okay. Hannah, do number 1. First read the answer. We're looking at page 111 and the exercise 3B1. I did the first 2 given examples, and Hannah's now going to start, and then you'll continue, Yirmiyahu, with the fill-ins. So the way we'll do the fill-ins is look at the answer first.
Mi mesaferim siporim, ha'orchim mesaferim siporim.
All right. Read the answer first. Just read it. Don't add anything.
Ha'orchim mesaferim siporim.
Okay. Ha'orchim mesaferim siporim. Now give me the question.
Mi mesaferim siporim.
Okay, that's what I was concerned about. When you use the word me, you don't say misaperim, even though you have an answer. Me misaper. Keep it singular masculine. The answer is not known yet. I'm just letting you read the answer first, just to get into it. So it's me misaper sipurim, and the response is the underlying word haorachim misaperim sipurim. Hannah, the next one.
Ha'orchim mesaferim siporim. Ma ha'orchim mesaferim.
Okay. Again,
Ma ha'orchim mesaferim.
no. The question must always be asked in the singular masculine. Even though the answer is ha'orchim saprim, you don't know that yet. So if you don't know that yet, you always ask the question in the singular masculine. Try giving it to me now again.
Ma mesaferim, ma ha'orchim mesaferim.
Again, you're giving it to me in the plural. Ma ha'oreach mesaper. You make it singular, masculine. Orachim, you don't know yet. So what you do is you take the word ha'orachim, make it singular ha'oreach, and have the verb agree with it, ma ha'oreach mesaper, or ma mesaper oreach, and then you get an answer that says ha'orachim mesaperim. We don't know the answer yet. Okay, one second. The answer given for number 1, or rather for number 2, rather, is, I'm confusing with number 1 now. let me repeat myself. Ha'orchim misaperim sipurim. So the question would be, ma misaper ha'oreach.
Is that number 3, the guest tell story?
No, one second right now. No, I'm trying to make sure we understand this thing correctly here. Okay, I'm trying to follow her example. Example number 1 is Milo Maid Sarfatit, who is studying French, and the answer is student team. Sentence number 2 is Malumdim, what are the students studying? So it would be Malumdim, student team. Okay, it's a question of me and ma. That's my error. So number 1 is mi misaper sipurim, haorchim misaperim sipurim. And question number 2 is ma haorchim misaperim. All right, I think you said that right the second time. Okay, Hannah, give it to me again. Sentence number 2, the question. Go ahead. Okay. And then the answer is Orchim Saprim Sipurim. All right, statement number 3, Hannah. Yes, that's right. No, not mi medaber. We don't know if it's medaber yet. So mi medaber ivrit. Who is speaking Hebrew? Then the answer will tell us it's a female. The oracha, the guest, is speaking. But the question will be masculine singular when it comes to the me word. So every question that's here which has the word who, use the word me in the masculine singular. Mi medaber ivrit, and the response tells us how rachat medaber ivrit. One more statement, number 4. Again, when you use the word me, it's masculine singular. Mi mevashel. And the answer? Okay. Okay, let's go over that one again. Tzvi and Rina. Tzvi Verina. One second. Okay, Tzvi Verina mevashelim. That's your PL, masculine plural. Mevashel, mevashelet, mevashelim, mevashelot. Again, let me go over the rules of Hebrew grammar. If you have a plural which has a female and a male, the male will contaminate that whole subject and make it masculine. Whether there are many women and just one male, it's still masculine, the verb. And the word aruchot. Aruchot is the word arucha, which is the word for meal, meal. One second. Here's a case where the Eved Ivri wants to come back in. No, we talked about the Eved Ivri, that's why. And since you walked out, we locked that door. You're no longer part of the incoming crowd. And once you see the exercise we're doing, you're going to say, I want out of here again. All right. We're on page 111, and we're working through a difficult understanding of what this exercise is about. Anyway, Tzvi Verina is the answer, but you don't know what the answer is. So the question is always the word me, and because the answer is going to be a subject, not the object. So mi mevashel and Tzvi Verina mevashlim aruchot, and I don't get that word arucha confused with the word oreach. And I'm serious about it. If you're learning Hebrew for the first time, or even for the 50th time, it is so easy to confuse words which appear the same but the vocalization tells you they're different. The word oreach is a guest. The word arucha is a meal. And both words have the aleph resh head to it. Arucha in the plural is aruchot, and oreach is orchim, masculine singular. So Tzvi and Rina, they are mavashlim, not orchim, but aruchot. They're cooking meals. Okay, let's go on to the next page. Go Yirmiyahu, number 5, page 112.
So it's that was me.
First read the answer.
The answer, hey, student team.
All right, the name is Tzvi. Are you seeing the same page? Page 112 on top. Number 5, we're not doing the question yet. First read the response.
It's me.
Continue.
Student.
Tzvi Verina. The woman's name is Rina.
Oh, okay. The Rina.
Let's just say it. Mivashalim. Aru, and the last syllable, Aruchot. All right, before we go even further, translate for me if you can, Yirmiyahu.
Zili, I said Zili, and Rina cook.
Are cooking.
Are cooking food.
Cooking what?
Food or meals.
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 A meal. Okay, it's a little difficult. All right, that first name is Tzvi. Let me make sure you get that name down. I know it's hard to say it. It's with a shvana there. It is often a confusion for people, again, beginning students in particular, Europeans, whatever you want to call people who's trying to study Hebrew. There are two names in Hebrew. One is the name Tzvi. The other is your professor's name, Ze'ev. Both these names are animal names. A Ze'ev is a wolf, WOLF. A Tzvi is a deer, DEER. Now again, the English language comes in. And how many times have I said this and what I'm known by in the age of scholarship, including that book I showed you, The Maven of Blue Jeans. One article there is the use of the word Shoah and Holocaust, and the professor's name is David Patterson. And by the name Patterson, you can tell right away, Yirmiyahu, he's not a born member of the tribe. He happens to have crossed into Judaism. He's now a Jewish member of the tribe. But David Patterson is also in charge of the Holocaust Center at the University of Texas at Dallas. If you were to see him, he looks like any white Alabaman. He's from the South. His chapter deals with the words Holocaust and Shoah. And in his chapter in honor of me, he mentions that Professor Zev Garber, or Mr. Zev Garber, or just simply Zev Garber, is known for his opposition of the word Holocaust to describe the genocide of the Jews. He's quite right about it. I'm one of the leading pioneers objecting to the word Holocaust. And my article came out in the 1990s in the book called Shoah.
What's the most appropriate term?
Yeah, Shoah, rather than Holocaust. I don't want to get into that right now. The reason why I'm saying that all to you right now is because the language can affect you. That word dear in English sounds emotional. I say dear, You don't think of DEER, you think of DEAR. This guy is not a DEAR. I would not want to mess around with a deer. They look nice, they are wonderful. Behave yourself with them. Or they'll clip you so quickly you don't know what the hell hit you. A Zaave, on the other hand, is often treated as a wolverine, as an animal that will just come at you no matter what. That is not factually correct. Mess with a wolf, then you're in trouble. Otherwise, they just leave you alone. Anyway, the name Zaave and the name Tzvi, both names have a shvana under it. Tzvi, Zaave. When I write my name in English, I spell it Z-E-V. That's incorrect. I know it's incorrect, but I'm writing in English, not in Hebrew phonetics. The Zaave in English should be written like this, say the Israelis. Put two E's in there. That first E is meant to represent the Shvana. So goes their transliteration. And a number of Israelis will spell their name in English, Z-E-E-V, and they might want to put a marker here for the son of an Aleph, I guess. But the rest of us simply spell it Z-E-V. The name Tzvi, let me show you what goes on here. The big problem is many people transliterate the name Tzvi as T-Z-V-I. This is incorrect. The letter Tzadi is not a T-Z sound. It's a TS sound. So if you want to go correct with me, then you put TS, Tzvi. And without getting too particular about it, this AJS perspective was done under my supervision. I had a co-editor. I had one or two words transliterated properly. I got a rebuttal saying, Professor Zev, do you mind if we change your transliteration? I said, for what purpose? We don't accept that transliteration. We have our own way. So what am I going to do? If that's what they want to do, they'll do it, but it's incorrect what they did. And I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe the right answer is there are different schools of how to transliterate. Stop making a big argument about it. I mean, take the name Jeremiah. Why in English is Jeremiah spelled J-E-R? The Hebrew is Yirmiyahu. The first sound, Yirmiyahu, should be something like a J, all right, or a Y is better, and then an I, not an E. But Jeremiah is what we have for our Anglo-Saxon transliteration of that prophet of Israel, Jeremiah. So what am I going to do? The problem would be that a person named Jeremiah is learning Hebrew, is discovering it's not something like Jeremiah in Hebrew, it's Yirmiyahu. But then again, it's the language that's different. And when you go from one language to another, you're going to have a conflict of how to transliterate. That name Tzvi. Tzvi and Zaev at one time were very popular masculine names. Today's Israeli Hebrew have all kinds of new names, you might say, and so it is. And if you're curious of the origin of Zaev, it's not named after any animal called a wolf. There is a king, a Canaanite king, mentioned in the Torah by the name of Zaev. How his name became popular among the Hebrews that we call our former Jews type of thing, I have no idea whatsoever. But it's an actual name of a person, a Canaanite pagan king, Zaev. And no doubt got the name because of association with the animal. That's how names are adopted. If they're named after animals, it's because of the characteristic of the animal, I would think. Okay, let's get back to what you were doing. Okay, so Tzvi Varina. Okay, since you got the answer, Tzvi Varina Mevashlim Aruchot, what would the question be now? The word that's underlined should give you the hint of how to give the question. One minute, let him work on it. We're looking at page 112, number 5. Yirmiyahu? How would you ask the question? Let's try English. What would the question be in English?
What are they cooking?
I'm sorry?
What are they cooking?
Okay, so what, okay,
What are
that's right. What are they cooking? So then say the word ma and then add Tzvi Varina.
okay? Ma, T, Verena, um, Mevashali.
That's right. That's exactly it. At least you got the the intent of what you do here. The word that's underlined is not the subject that's doing it, but the object that's receiving it, I guess. So then the question would be matzvirina mavashalim. Again, the underlying word is the word that's unknown until the question is asked. That's why I'm asking everybody to first read the answer, see the word that's underlined. That's the giveaway. Sentence number 6. Go, Yimiho.
A student team.
Okay, the word is not student team written. Do you not see the word? Let him try. Hatalmidot.
Number 6. Yeah.
Okay, student team is not at all indicated at all here. All right, that's the word that's underlined. But let's have the whole sentence now. Hatalmidot. That's right.
Um,
That's right. All right, Yirmiyahu, in your case, translate for me as well. Hatalmidot kotvot shirim.
They, the students write lessons.
That's right. That's right. You don't be shocked that you're doing it well. The students write the lessons. Now, the students here happen to be Talmidot, which means a group of female girls. Again, that word Talmidah and Talmid is used for lower grades, said to be from from kindergarten to grade 12, and anything higher than grade 12, grade 13, college already, is a student. That's right.
Oh, okay, that's what I was. Okay.
But even you don't have to bother with that. It's just simply the word as written. That's what you have to read. Now, what would the question be? If the answer is a subject, then how do you formulate the question?
Like, what are the students writing?
Well, just let me hear the Hebrew. No, you don't know Talmidot. That's the word that's answered. That's part of the answer. So it's a word unknown when you ask the question. All right, Yirmiyahu, let me help you. If the answer is given Talmidot kotvot shirim, then the question is not what do the students write, but who is writing lessons. So then, well, how do you use who? When you use the word who will govern always the masculine singular? So give me the question for number 6. Start with the word who, me.
Who, me?
No.
Who?
Who in Hebrew is me.
Who?
Again, the Hebrew, me.
Me. Okay, me, quote, vote.
Oh, you don't know it's code vote. Whenever me is used, it governs the masculine singular. The answer is not known to you yet. It's the underlying word. That's the answer. It's not known. You're asking the question. So it'll be me kotev.
Me, kote, shiurim.
That's shiurim. Shiurim. Okay. Again, dear people, whenever the word me is used, as she points out as well, it governs all the time the masculine singular, even though the response can be a masculine plural or the feminine forms. We don't know the response yet. So when you see an answer that has the subject, then it's me. If you see an answer that has the object, then it will be the word ma. Number 7, Yirmiyahu, read the sentence in Hebrew. Hatalmidot. That word is difficult. Hatalmidot, number 7. Do you see the word hatalmidot? All right, say it again.
So the question is me, Atamidot.
Continue to read.
Atamidot, Kotav.
No, kotivot.
Kotivot, shiurim.
All right, translate for me first.
Who writes the lesson?
No, translate the word. Hatalmidot means what?
Like a young student, right? Young kid.
Hatalmidot, the students. Don't be afraid to say it. Okay, the students. Now continue to translate.
Students write the lesson.
That's right, write lessons.
Write lessons.
Okay, don't add the. There's no ha there. Okay, that's the answer. Hatamidot kotzvot shiurim. The word shiurim is underlined, which means you don't know what the students are writing. You're getting that answer. So what would the question be if the answer given is shiurim? Look at your answer. The students write lessons. What is the question that is asked to that answer? Me is who?
Yeah, who writes?
No, if the question is who, then the word Talmidot will be underlined. That's not what's being asked who. What's being asked is what? What are the students writing? Don't you see it? The word that's underlined is shiurim, so it's not the who that's being asked, it's the what is being asked. Start your answer with ma. Continue to read the answer because the answer has two words which are not underlined. That means that those words are known already. Come on, you can say it. Hatalmidot kotzvot. What are the? That's your question. What? No, wait, we don't know the answer yet. The question is being asked for you to formulate. Mahatamidot kotvot. That is your question for number 7. And then the answer is shiurim. Hatamidot kotvot shiurim. How do you formulate the question? You look at the answer that's given. The word that you cannot give is the underlying word. The underlying word will tell you whether your question will be with me, who, or will be with ma, what. Okay, we'll work on it. Baruch number 8. Read first the answer.
תלמיד כותב מהטובים.
Okay, no, let's correct that word. It's mechtav is the singular, mechtavim is the plural. The word for letters, let me write it on the board. A letter, not a letter of an alphabet, but a letter, an epistle. Again, how languages can be a little confusing. You say the word letter, normally when you say letter, I guess, I don't know, it could be a letter or it could be a letter of an alphabet. I don't know what the frequency is of those two words. But let's give you a distinction. In Hebrew, a letter with paragraphs, whatever, is called a mechtav. And again, let your mind be free in this classroom. Think a little bit. You got a kav, the tav, and a bet. That's the crucial word or root. Anything with a kav, tav, bet means to write. And so the mem letter stands for the question ma. What is being written? Who is, or something of that nature. So then you have an answer, a mechtav. The word letter of an alphabet is the word ot. Get down a new word, ot. Ot is the word letter of an alphabet. Letter Aleph, ot bet, ot gimel. And from that word mechtav, all kinds of important words come from it. The word kotev, ani yoshev, al yad shulchan, I'm sitting by the desk. Va'ani, and I am writing. Va'ani, not ve'ani. And Chana is the one that speaks with all this knowledge. Lama zeh va'ani v'lo ve'ani. Lama, ani kotev et hamila ani im nikud, with vocalization. Kotvim et hamila ani chataf patach tachad aleph. Ani mosif, I am now adding the vav. Normal point of the vav is with a shvana. There's a shva cluster between the shvana of the vav and the chataf patach. And when that happens, the vav takes over the sound of the chataf. So it's va'ani, not ve'ani. Va'anachnu, not ve'anachnu. Same thing with anachnu, chataf patach. Again, the Israeli speaker doesn't say va'ani. They say ve'ani. Lama lo, why not? That's how they speak, and they speak with incorrect Hebrew every time they talk. These are common phrases. All right, I want to get back to our targil right now. Meanwhile, the word is michtav, the plural will be michtavim. Baruch, say that sentence again.
התלמיד כותב מכתבים.
The question now.
Okay, letters write students. Lama, what letters the students write?
Don't ask the lama. It's either a me word or a ma word.
So me is who? It could also me. Who is me, right?
Me means who? WHO, yes.
Okay.
You have your answer given, Hatalmid Kote, with the word Hatalmid underlined. So based upon that evidence, what would the question be?
So okay, it would be me.
All right, say it. Me.
Me. Okay, so.
Give me the question. Me.
Okay, me kato.
No, me kotev.
Me kotev. Kotev. Mechotovim. Machtovim. No.
Michtavim.
Mechtavim.
You just had it a moment ago. Mi kotev michtavim. And the answer is Hatalmid. Next sentence, Baruch.
So number 9 then would be okay. Hapikidot
That's right, Hapikidot.
Avodot the bank.
Okay. Not ovadot, ovidot, ovidot. Shvana nitavet. Ovidot, babank. All right, you got an answer. Translate first before, wait a minute.
Pikudo means that the clerks
Okay,
or the officials would be the clerks.
clerks, yeah.
The clerks.
Clerks do what?
Oh, they look like a clerk female plural, right?
No.
Ovedot de bank.
What are they doing in the bank? It says ovdot. Translate the word ovdot.
The work.
That's it. So the clerks work in the bank. Now the question.
It would be ma, right?
Just go on with the question.
Ma avodot hapakodim.
Oh my goodness.
No?
No. If the answer is the clerks work in the bank, the question would be who works in the bank?
Oh, okay. Ma, me, the bank.
Me, the verb now, me ovade
Me oved, the bank.
babank.
Ba-
Okay. Again, dear people, when you use the word me, even though the answer given to you is in the plural feminine, but me by itself is always the masculine singular as form of a question. Me ovade. You don't know the answer yet. The only reason why the answer is given to you is to help you use either the word ma or me. And finally, number 10, read the answer as given.
Okay. Anasim, Hanashim,
That's right.
Ovedot, Be, Bemat, Benatbach.
Okay.
No, I don't know that one.
All right. The last word in that sentence, Mr. Yirmiyahu. Anashim ovedot. That's it. Bamidbach. Todah la'el. Yirmiyahu, I want you to get down a phrase. Lamalo. You picked that phrase up a few weeks ago. That's right. The next phrase you're going to use, and you'll be using it quite often. Slowly but surely, you'll be climbing Sinai. Slowly but surely, you'll be getting used to that piercing ear. Todah. Todah la'el. The Israeli everyday phrase, thank God. Todah la'el. Baruch Hashem is the more traditional way of saying it, but Todah la'el is a common way. Edna herself throws that word in somewhere in one of her lessons. Todah la'el.
Can you please repeat the answer to number 10, what the question was? Exactly?
Oh, I'm not hearing your question.
The question for number 10, which was the answer to time to question number 10. The one that he just answered. To Anashim Avodot.
Not overdot. Bamidbach. All right. Baruch, you're asking Jeremiah to translate?
Or no, what was the question?
Well, you tell us the question. If the word Hanashim, women, is underlined, so what would be the question?
What's the meretiva?
Midbach is the word, kitchen. Midbach is kitchen.
Oh, okay. So what would be, it would be, what, who works in the kitchen?
That's it. So the word who is not ma.
Me.
That's right.
Avodot.
No, you don't know the plural. You give it in the, no, avodah's work as a noun. Give me that word, ayin bet dalet, as a masculine singular form in the present tense, so-called.
Avod? Tell me.
Oved,
Obey.
like shomer, shomeret, oved, ovedet, like lomed, lomedet, oved. Me oved.
Yoved. The mitah.
Bamidbach.
Bamidbah.
Okay. Let me get that word midbach down. It's been a problem again and again. All right, dear people, it's one thing to take notes, which you should be doing. It's another thing to try to go over this now. Let me have your attention. The word for kitchen is midbach. In the kitchen, I add my definite article, hamidbach. The bakal letter, the betkav lamed letter comes along, strikes out the hay, takes over its vowel, bamidbach, in the kitchen. And the root of that word midbach, by the way, is tet betchet, which means to slaughter. And I might add that was the first place of recorded Jewish memory or history where the killing of an animal occurred.
Does that mean altar?
Let me just finish. You killed your cow. You killed your kosher animal in the field. After you killed it, you cleansed it. And where you killed and cleansed it, you sat and you ate. Let's give you a little history on one foot. The kitchens of your homes right now are very clean, theoretically. You're not aware of the fact that the word kitchen comes from where you slaughtered the animal. Right at that spot is where you ate. Try to think about, you live in a desert, for God's sakes. What the hell, you gonna go to a hotel somewhere? There's no hotels.
What's the word for altar?
How's that?
Altar, where the sacrifices are.
That's a mizbeach.
What is midbach?
This is mizbeach. 1 second. The Shorish is Zion Betchet. Stolen patach and chet, chet following a frontal vowel. The mizbeach is an altar. That's already a holy sanctuary, holy spot. Mizbach was wherever you kill the animal. And if that disgusts you, then I guess you go vegetarian. Yep. Anyway, today's midbach. If you happen to run a kosher kitchen, it's quite complicated. There are two different areas, Uriel, where you have the dairy stuff and you have the meat stuff. And you don't try to mix the two together. If you do, then you can't use either one of them. You don't know what they're using anymore. Same thing goes with towels, for washing, everything. Complete separation. Then Passover comes along, then you have to have another cabinet. To run a Jewish kitchen is not easy. Nachon Chana. A Jewish kitchen is kashem mod. Your kitchen is very complicated. First of all, there's meat and there's milk. Then there's separation of the two. Then there's Passover. I know that. Yeah, that's right. And if you have animals running around, then what about them? My dog does not keep kosher, so he has his own little area where he has his own little meal.
You don't keep kosher?
The animal doesn't eat kosher kibbles. The kibbles are not kosher. The kibbles are what they are.
What are kibbles?
But he enjoys a Shabbos meal every time we have the Friday night meal. He's right there to be with the kiddush, to be with the challah, and to be with the food, whatever.
You like the kiddush?
Oh, they all animals love to sit at your table. All right, people, this has been a little difficult, I guess, the exercise. Try to go over it. You got the tape of what we did, and just try to get it down. Okay, the verbs now follow. We've done the verbs, Todah La'el, and that's important for me. Okay, I'm looking now on the bottom of page 115 with the word zeh and zot, and let's continue with that. On page 115, she has a new word right now. The word is called the demonstrative pronoun. And then the Hebrew words are zeh, which is masculine, zot or zu, will be the unvocalized. No, she has the word zo vocalized. I mean the word zo vocalized. All right, that's what she has there. The word zoo is also found. In other words, do you see the feminine? I'm looking at page 115. I have the zachar, in English, this, masculine singular. Yachid means singular, is the word zeh. The feminine is normally the word zot or the word zo, she writes. Add the phrase zoo. Zoo.
Zo, and then now zoo.
Zo is what she prefers. I'm giving you the phrase zoo as an alternate to the word zot. Zot is the more common one.
So you want, oh, okay.
In other words, she's giving an alternate. There's both zot and there's the word zo.
You
Or,
want zoo instead of.
wait a minute, I'm adding the word zoo. I'm going to see what my little dictionary has to tell me. Again, these are Israelis who have an upper hand on all this, frankly. But why does Professor Ze'ev have the word zoo running through his head? It's no doubt because I was raised with zoo. And I was raised by zoo, possibly because of Ashkenazi traditions. I don't think so. Let me just double check here. If he even has it here. Yep. No, she has the word zo for this. And okay, wait a minute now. Zo, this one, or this, feminine. The next line has the word zoo and translates it as who, wish, and also the word this. So I'm right. The word zoo is used, but zo is the only, zoo has multiple meanings from what I just read, including this, but zo seems to be with one meaning, meaning this. Maybe that for that reason. Just add the word zoo together with zo.
Who, which, and this means.
All right, the third line is the word for these. And these, you'll notice, she does not have male or female, but in the plural, it's one word for both masculine and feminine. Zachar nekeva. Look at the Hebrew. Look at the pointing of the word and the keva. U. The vav normally has a point with a shvana, but when it's affixed to a word that begins with a shvana under it, the vav is pointed as a shuruk. And if that first letter has one of the chatafim, then the vav adopts, takes over the sound of the chataf. But this is correctly vocalized. Zachar unikeva. Then the rabim word, plural. And then look at the plural words are either ele or elu. And then there's something very unusual about ele and elu. Can anyone tell me what is unusual about the spelling of ele, these? Or if you want elu, both words are interchangeable. Let me write the word out on the board. The word is spelled with an aleph tzere. The lamed has a dagesh in that lamed. Ele, spell out the word ele. What is unusual about this word? 2 more seconds. All right, let's go over some Hebrew grammar again. The aleph letter is your consonant. The tzere is a medial vowel. A medial vowel can be either open syllable, right? Like in sefer, like in seder. Normally when I write my, well, 1 second, Hannah. That's how I normally write my tzere. I don't put a dagesh in the next letter. That dagesh looks like a dagesh chazak. Hannah, you want to say something?
לא יבוא דגש after A.
After the hey, we're not putting anything after it.
A.
After the A,
Say it.
the word beseder. If I write out the word beseder, the b,
No,
No, there's no dagesh after the seire.
Seire.
One second. The be means in, in. Seder means order. The samach has a tsere. There's no dagesh in the dalet, which is another way of saying that tsere is not irregular if it's an open syllable. If it's open,
The vowel seire.
how's that?
The vowel. Say. The vowel.
I'm not following
Oh,
her.
it's okay. Can I come?
Can she come? She said, can she come?
How's
Can
that?
I come and
Can
Okay.
she come?
אני אומרת,
Okay.
after seire. Seire, לא. I can't. לא יבוא דגש.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, she's saying what I'm saying. She says after it's Sere, there's no need for Dagesh to recur. That's the whole question. Why is there a Dagesh which in appearance looks like a Dagesh Chazak? Obviously, when you have a problem of this nature, you have to give an explanation. And the explanation can only be that somehow, somewhere, somebody put a Dagesh in that Lamed. As a result, you don't say the word Ele, you say Ele, Ele. You make sure you accent that first syllable because of the irregularity of a tseri in a close syllable. You go with an accent. Ele, not Ele, Ele. That's right. Normally, a tseri does draw an accent, but not all the time. The Mida Cholam always does. But the question is, why, to begin with, was there a Dagesh and a Lamed? In the same way, the other day, need to go over this with you. I told you how difficult it is to see Edna Coffin's Hebrew. Go back to the adjectives. That word on your name and that word misha'amim. Go back to page 105. And this will be good for Hannah as well. She wasn't here on Tuesday. If you look at the word misha'amim, I'm looking at page 105. I'm looking at the chart of the adjectives. The word for boring, masculine singular, misha'amim. You'll notice that the patach underneath the shin is a short vowel, but there's no dagesh chazak in the ayin, and the ayin has a chata patach under it, which means the first syllable is CINCV. I offered the explanation that originally misha'amim probably had a shvan nach underneath the ayin. Just 1 second. Get some water in me first. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu haolam she'akol niyeh b'dvaro. All right, mishamim. The word probably was to begin with mishamim. Again, I don't know. I'm offering you a hypothesis or a theory which best explains it. The word originally was mishah, written like this: CINCVC. That patach closed by a shvanach underneath the ayin. And somewhere in Hebrew pronunciation, the shvanach opened up to a sound. As you try to say it, misha'amim, misha'amim. That's the only explanation I can give. So when you see it that way, you vocalize the word as you see it, and you offer the explanation is potentially closed. C-I-N-C-V, or you can call it its secondary opening. What's called secondary opening. The Shvanach becomes a Shvanah. Yeah, the Shvanach originally develops into a Shvanah. It's called secondary opening. That's one problem with this word. Nobody recognizes it unless we teach syllabication. Look at the word Misha'amimim. Look at that very word itself, Misha'amimim. Do you see the problem there? You have a Chataf Patach, a Nitiayin, and you have a Shvana Nitamem. You don't have two Shvanas, two Shva'im Na'im, one following each other. But that's what I see in Misha'amimim. It would not be that way if you have a Shvanach, a Nitiayin. The same thing is true in Misha'amamut. Let's make sure you understand that. As I look at that word Misha'amimim, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm seeing. Misha'amimim. The Mishah is not a problem, C-I-N-C-V. But this is a problem. The ayin has a chatapatach under it, the mem has a shvana under it. How can there be a C-ayin and C-ayin back to back? You explain it by saying the ayin originally had a shvanach under it. That's one problem. Take a look at the word ma'anyen. Go to the word right above it. Ma'anyen is not a problem. First syllable is C-I-N-C-V-C, the mem, the shvana. The ayin has a patach closed by the shvanach and the nun. And the second syllable is a yud, long tsere followed by the yud, final nun. But then look at ma'anyenet. Why does Edna Coffin tell us that in the feminine singular, the second syllable, yenet, yeah, get an accent? If it were a short sego, not closed, I can see it, but this looks like a sego closed by a yud that follows it. And then look at ma'anyanim. You think everything is an easy thing? Look at the way she has ma'anyanim. She has ma'an, I can see that as a syllable, C-I-N-C-V-C. But then the yud has a shvana, followed by a yud. What the hell is a yud with a shvana? The same thing is true of ma'anyanot. A yud has a shvana under it, and then followed by a yud with no vowel under it. And that's part of writing Hebrew without vowels, maybe, and now vocalizing it, and then there's a problem. So there are issues like that. But that word Eile is a good example of it. And the other word that's a good example of it is the word Lama. Lama! Spelled with a dagesh chazak in that mem. I'm pronouncing this kamatz as a medial kamatz, not as a short kamatz. If it were a short kamatz, then this I can see dagesh chazak. This is an ah sound. Lama. Why a dagesh chazak in the mem? Eile.
Lama means what?
Lama means why. Eila means these. I'm asking why a dagesh chazak. And now a new word for you. Dagesh l'tiferet kriya. Amazing. The first time around, I didn't even think about it. Second time around, I began to cough. Third time around, I finally got the reason why. There is a dagesh kal. There's dagesh chazak. And now a third dot for your vocabulary. A dagesh l'tiferet. Let me first write it out. Hakriya. Just 1 second. Dagesh, a dot, the tiferet for the beauty, hakriya of the reading. You're right, for the reading of the Torah. Well, what do you mean? Ayla doesn't have to have a Dagesh Kazakh. Lama doesn't have to have a Dagesh Kazakh. Ayla. Lama. It's to wake up the Kila. Stop sleeping. The Torah is being read. The Baal Kriya uses certain sounds. You hear a reader go, "Ooh, Lama!" right away, especially if it's Mizrahi. They have a way of screaming it. But we're told it's for the beauty of the reading of the Torah. I can almost see Hannah among the women when the men begin to shriek. Why are you screaming? What do you mean screaming? It's the beauty of my voice. You better pay attention. It's called Lagesh L'Tiferet Kriya. Grammatically, you don't need a dot in Eile, and you don't need a dot in Lama. But since there's a dot there, you go Eile, Lama. Yeah, it's called a dot for the beauty of reading. Okay, we'll take the break now, and let me just make sure I know where we're at. Sometimes I get so mamash confused here. Not due to you. Okay, let me go back. So when you come back from the break, we're going to do the Zed, the Zot, and the Eila words. All right, people, come back around 20 after, and that's it. Okay.